You may have never thought about buying a jail, but you got to hear the story of the jail project. Matt, I can't believe you actually bought a jail. What the heck are you thinking?
It was the numbers worked in my buy box.
I love that. That's the only right answer I will accept. So let's educate the folks on kind of the base numbers. What got you interested? Because again, there's one thing to purchase it, and then there's another thing to have the vision in the value add. Because let's be clear, you're not going to be running a jail, correct?
No, no, I will not.
All
Oh
right.
no. We are keeping some of the jail cells. We are.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
It's a,
repurpose them. Yep,
it's a
for sure.
design option. Okay. All right.
It is. It's a feature, not a bug.
That's a
Just like
feature,
just
not
like
a bug.
inflation.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's so the jail project, it was, I'm always looking for when you get to this point in your investing career, you're like, okay, I want to do stuff that not only can make money, but it has to make an impact. It has to
Mhm.
be something I probably haven't done before.
Yeah.
The rinse and repeat kind of gets to a point where it gets old, but you're still like, oh yeah, hey, I want to go do a vacation. So I'm going to do a house project, and in 30 days or 60 days, I'll have enough money to go do that vacation on what I made on that project.
Right.
And so that's kind of the fun monopoly way of doing things. And this particular one, it was what I saw was a downtown area, because it's a jail. It's basically a jail slash police station, not a prison, a
Okay.
jail slash police station.
Got it. Okay.
So it's cool. And so, but it's an 8,000 square foot box
Right.
made out of brick and I-beams.
Mm,
I mean, construction is bulletproof,
right.
literally. Um,
Literally. Yeah.
literally. So it was just a really cool project. I knew that that building had been vacant for a couple of decades, had nothing been done.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Been vacant for a couple of decades. No one any time. It had, didn't have a sprinkler system. You know,
Okay.
they
Yep.
I love how cities treat our municipal workers.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine. Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Every other building requires it. But for the municipal workers, for some reason, we can put them in tinder boxes. It's okay. But this thing is all brick, just rare. That's really rare, an old brick building.
Yeah.
But with steel I-beam construction, which is just awesome. And then it's right smack dab in the middle of downtown.
So,
So walking,
so paint this vision. So 8,000 square feet, 2 stories.
yep, 2 stories. Yep.
All right. So I'm guessing 4 and 4. They're just literally a box, right?
So it's kind of like it's a rectangle on the top, a
Oh, okay.
rectangle on the bottom, and a square on the top. So it's
Okay.
basically like there's this one little L jut that comes out this way.
Okay. And where were the cells, the jail cells?
Jail cells were on the first floor in the back of one of the commercial units.
Or what was upstairs?
Detective and chief of police offices and things
Okay.
like that.
So offices.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yes, offices, but no walls. So one of the cool
Oh,
things about one of the cool things that you get when you buy a building from a city very often, especially from older parts of the country, is that they have to mitigate all their risk. So they have to get rid of all the asbestos. They have to get rid of all the lead. They have to get rid of all the unsafe things.
oh, interesting.
What's really
Okay.
cool about it is that a city can get grants from the federal government to do that work, and they have
Okay.
people that do that. I don't write grants. I can't
Yeah. Yeah.
answer to a grant. Like that's a lot of work. So the
Right.
city does that. But what was cool is the city got funded $153,000 to do the abatement work in the building.
Okay. So buildings vacant for 10 years
Yeah, 20. Yeah, 20 years, two
or 20
decades.
years, sorry.
Yep. Yeah, you're
Um,
good.
so what happens?
Mhm.
Like, was it listed? Did somebody whisper in your ear that they're ready to sell?
Great question.
Yeah, what happened?
So the first way that we found it, or the first way I found it, was it was listed on the city website.
Okay.
Yep. The city will try and sell it first directly to somebody because they have to put it out to bid.
Hmm.
So they put it out to bid. They can have a minimum bid, but they put it out to bid. And it was really funny because it was when I was getting back from some trip, and I had missed it by like a few hours. And I was like, damn it. I really wanted the building. I've
Yeah.
been keeping an eye on it because I have other properties around it that I drive past the thing, and I'm like, that's just a really cool building.
Hmm.
So the city had listed it, and then they didn't get a deal done. And so then they basically go through a couple councilman meetings, and then they hire an agent, and then the agent lists it, takes pictures, and sells it. Then you have
Okay.
to sign a bunch of disclosures to be able to get in. And then she presents the offers to the city, and what the plans are going to be. Because the city says, well, and it's not architectural drawings, it's just what is your general plan with the building.
Right. Yep. Okay.
And so that's what we put together. Put together a general plan. This is what we want to do with it. I already own 50 units in that city.
Okay.
And so they were familiar with the fact that I own stuff and that I wasn't on the code enforcement board,
Mm.
needing a bunch of issues fixed. Um, and so we just basically convinced the city that we were the right buyer because we would buy it for cash. We would, close in 10 days and the whole 9 yards. And in that particular case, being a cash buyer helps because the city just wants to be rid of it.
Yeah, they're
Um,
done. Yeah.
but they spent 3 years getting funds approved, getting it abated, getting everything cleaned up, getting the building a clean bill of health. They spent 3 years doing that
Wow.
and
So,
$153,000 from the federal government.
so when you walked through it, you got inside it was basically a shell.
It's just a brick shell with flooring. And even most
Okay.
of the flooring was missing.
How many bathrooms?
So they completely gutted it. So they were zero,
Oh,
zero bathroom.
wow.
Yeah. They
Oh,
took all the asbestos wrapped pipes.
got it.
They took all the
Okay.
lead pipe out. So I'm literally buying a shell with joists and I-beams.
Hmm.
That's it.
What is parking like?
Parking, there's a lot out back. There's also parking. There's parking in front of it.
Okay.
And there's also this one of the city lots is 1 block over.
Okay. All right.
So
Um, how close? So they eventually list it with an
it,
agent.
mhm.
What was it listed at?
It was listed at I think it was listed at 150 grand.
Wow, that's shocking. So they
Mhm.
they, they clearly didn't want it. They spent 130 grand, maybe,
153.
or one.
153, but it was the Fed's money. So it
Right.
wasn't their money, but it was their all
Yeah.
their time. It was their 3 years of having this on their docket of having to go through
Right.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
So 153, they get a Fed money. They post it for 150. I say, hey, I love the city. I want to pay you guys more. And-
Really?
oh yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah. Price per square foot. I know that other developers, it was
Mhm.
right in that tweener space. The big guys don't want it. The small guys are probably too small to make that deal happen. So I can't go a 150 unit build, but I could build a 20,
Right.
and I could build a two. I could build a dupe or a 20. And
Right.
so that's where it kind of fit me. I like the city. I like the downtown. It just needs, most people just don't pay enough attention. There's 2 blocks away. There's a brand new building being put in 156 units.
Mm.
There's a mill within a 3-minute walk that's being redone. That's going to have another 100 units in it. Those
Mm.
guys are going to drive my rents up crazy. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
So it gets listed, you like it, you're willing to pay more. Did you have competition right away?
I did. I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So they basically did like a first wave and they're like, hey, you're in the first wave of people to see it. We're like, okay,
Okay.
cool. And so I'm a stalker,
Mhm.
sort of. And so I set up my car and I watched I knew what time the showings were. They were like five
Right.
to seven. So I sat
Right.
out in my car and I watched who was going in there.
Okay.
So I knew a couple of them. And I was
Right.
like, okay, I need to make sure I get this property, not them. And so
So how, yeah,
I paid 200 grand. I paid 200 grand for it. Paid 50 grand,
200K cash,
200K
50
cash
grand
for it.
over.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And just sold the city on, hey, I'm the right operator. This is what we want for the space. You guys want to put commercial space on the first floor. I'm going to do an indoor kids playground and I'm going to do an eatery where families will be able to bring their kids and for less than $20, they're going to be able to get their kids playtime and food.
Mm. There you
And
go.
there's nothing like that.
That's awesome, especially in the winter, right
No,
where you live.
ever. We have
No.
5. I mean, it's the exact opposite of Las Vegas, right?
Right.
5 months a year, you can't go outside because you're going to turn into a bacon crisp.
Right.
And here, 5 months a year, you're going to turn into an icicle.
Hmm.
So it gives families a place like a grandma or a single parent to bring their kids, $20 a kid, and they're going to get food and they're going to get to play around inside, running around, getting all their energy out for 3 hours. Like, can't beat
Just
that.
love. I love that. I love that. So that's downstairs. Upstairs, I'm guessing multi or just apartments. I'm guessing.
Upstairs is just 4 2-bedroom apartments. Yep. 4 2-bedroom apartments. We'll finish them the way that we finish them. So they'll be, it's kind of a B class area and we'll finish them with A class quality.
Nice.
And we'll be competing with the guys in the mill and the brand new units that are just down the street. But, they used a price of like $2,113 a month is what
Mm,
they think their 2 bedrooms are going to rent for.
wow.
And so ironically, we'll be like 1995. So it'll be $100 less, and you won't have to fight for parking. It'll be a much smaller building, much more different experience. And yeah, it gives people a lot of flexibility in that regard.
Oh, that's awesome. So you paid 200 grand for the building. I can't wait to hear this rehab budget. How big is the
1.1,
rehab?
1.1 million. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're complete. You're all leased up. What do you think the ARV is going to be when it's all said and done? 2.5?
Um, ARV, yeah, ARV would be probably if based on where numbers are at today with 7% rates, we're probably a $2 million building, I'd say. Probably
All
about two
right.
million bucks.
So you add, all in, you add over $500,000 to your net worth
Oh
by
yeah.
taking on this project.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably 700. Yeah.
Okay.
700. Pretty easy.
And once you got permitting, how long do you think until you get occupancy, certificate of
Uh,
occupancy?
150 days,
Wow.
5 months. Mhm.
And you're doing that because you got to get it done by the winter.
We want to get it done by the winter. Ideally we're putting people in there in September. So ideally we're doing September. Worst case is October.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we can get done by September. There's kind of 3 phases of a construction project like this. Is you kind of need to do your sheeting, which is redoing all the floors. So we do that all with 3/4 inch plywood, resheeting, and then we're doing all the studding. And so we've done all the framing with all metal studs, framing of walls, but also framing of ceilings. You have to use a special product called a hi hat to screw into, and then now we're down to, and so electrical started this week and plumbing starts in 2 weeks. And then they'll be each there for about a month. So by middle of June, we should be done we will be done all the sheeting, all the framing, all the mechanical, all the electrical, and we'll then be sheetrocking it. That'll take about 3 weeks because it's about 8,000 square feet. But they're on the first floor, they're 18-foot ceilings.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and on the second floor, they're 10-foot ceilings on the second floor. So
Yeah.
it'll be a lot of fun. Good project.
There you go. There you go. Well, man, this is a lot of fun, folks. Buying a jail.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anybody that's bought a jail. Now I do. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how it goes. And
Oh,
we're
it's
going to
gonna go.
we're keeping the cells. We're actually going to finish some cool hardwood, butcher block counters. We're actually going to finish those, put them in the cells. And so that's where the kids will be able to eat their snacks and their lunches. So they'll be able to eat their stuff in the jail cell.
Oh, that'd be a nice design option. Well, this is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. You are posting content about this all the time. Where would somebody go for that?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram. And then this last Sunday on the 12th of May on Mother's Day, we actually did a live stream where I walked through the building and just kind of showed it in its current state, which is resheeted, floored, a lot of the masonry work done, all the fun asbestos. There was a little bit of asbestos left that left for me as a present that I had to get rid of. But that was $10,000. Gotta love asbestos. But yeah, that's where we post it. And so we did the live stream there yesterday. And so we did a walkthrough so people can actually see what that thing looks like.
A lot of fun. Go check it out. Matt, you're amazing. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks, Mike.